Hello, everyone, and welcome to our monthly webinar. Let's see if I can raise my desk while I'm talking. And if you could let me know in the audio that you are in the, oh, it's going to click. There we go. If you can hear me. Erica, I'm promoting you to panelist as well. You can hear me and see me. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate that. So this one's a little different with it being summer and all. My schedule has been a little different, so I didn't get the recording done in time. So I'm going to do this live. And thank you so much for attending. Erica is going to be my right-hand lady and make sure that you guys have all of the links and all of that information. Because I just finished the slides and stuff, we don't have a link to the slides unless Erica's like crazy fast, which I don't think that that's going to be how this goes. But I also want to wait because I'm going to demo something live at the very end. And I want to be able to put screenshots in there. And based on some of how we go, I want to be able to send the slides after the fact. So Erica, if you'll wait on providing the links to the slides until we do that follow-up email, that would be great. Just so that we can, like I said, put those slides in for what I'm going to demo live here in a little bit. I am Courtney Kearney, founder and owner of CKC Kearney Consulting. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that I'm trying to make sure that my demo is ready and it has logged me out. So let me log myself back in so that we are ready when that gets here. And hopefully it won't log me out by the time we get ready to be back there. Okay, I have got that one queued up. I'm going to share my slides and make sure that you guys can see the slides as they're moving. The Zoom window now went away. Let's get that back. All right, can you guys see the slides? And it should say workflows. Zoom will not let me move its little panel. There we go. All right, it should have just moved to my intro headshot slide. So let me know if it is not moving in the chat window. Or Erica, if you want to unmute and tell me it's not working, feel free to do that.
Everything
perfect. Thank you, Erica. Like I said, I'm Courtney Kearney, founder and owner of CKC Kearney Consulting. We have some amazing content that you can interact with on our website, whether it's from last month's process mapping to this month's workflows that we're going to be diving into. So definitely check that out. We do have a monthly email that you can subscribe to. If you're not already subscribed to it, you can do that on our website as well. And then our monthly resources, even months, we're doing webinars like you are participating in today. And then odd months, we have our CRM chats and forums. Next month, we're going to be talking about all things workflows. So if you have questions out of today, or if you have some great ideas that you want to kind of vet with a team and talk through that with, then next month is definitely a forum that you want to participate in. It doesn't have to be limited to workflows. So if the conversation lulls and dies down, then you can flip it over to any other topic that you want to talk about that is CRM related. That group is system agnostic. So whether you have Uninet, Deltek, ProjectMark, Salesforce, or don't have a CRM at all are welcome to that conversation. And we only have 6 this year, so be sure to get those on your calendar. We also ask for participation. The conversation and a forum is only as good as the participants who are active in that conversation. So plan to share your audio, share your video if possible, so that there can be an engaging conversation that happens on those calls. We also have consulting resources available. So if you need to get your goals to those next levels, we are here and available, and you can book a discovery call. If you're not quite ready, you can check out the book. It's now over my other shoulder, CRM or Die, that Chaz and I wrote, and it has some great resources for you in that as well. Ken, I'm super interested. You're recording the meeting and taking notes with AI through some Zoom tool that is new to me. So it just popped up in our chat window. So I'm gonna have to check that out after this meeting. I'm gonna take a screenshot of that. That's the first time I've seen that. So I'm not sure if that's like an automated situation, but I'm glad that I'm super intrigued by this, because I feel like I might be hallucinating, but I don't see a Ken in our participants list, or if anybody is using that tool and they are not Ken, but Ken is posting on your behalf or something. I'm super curious about what in the world that message is. If anybody knows, please pop into the chat window and let us know, because that is super intriguing and trippy. Okay, there you go. There's an AI that's doing something in our meeting. It is springtime. We all feel it, whether you are a gardener on our team like Courtney Vance is. She is super into any sort of plant life. If you ever want to get her talking, she tends to be more of a quiet person. Just mention any sort of plant life and she will go haywire. I am not a gardener, but I definitely recognize springtime because my allergies go crazy. So whichever version you interact with spring, or you just get the itch to do some spring cleaning, things like that, it is a time for cultivation. It's a time for growth. And we're going to talk about how that plays out in your CRM and your data, specifically around automations, workflows, pruning out some of your inefficiencies, growing, watching your CRM flourish. Specifically, we want to think about areas where we can plant seeds through automations in order to help our users, encourage adoption, improve the CRM, and increase usage. So while you're going through this webinar and I'm giving you a ton of ideas, it might not be the exact idea that you need, but it could give you another segue to, oh, but a version of this could help our users, or that doesn't really meet our needs, but I bet we could do this to encourage adoption, improve our system, and increase usage. Those are the main things that we're after when we're creating these workflows. So if you just keep those top of mind as we go through these examples, I just want to keep that in the forefront, that we're really just trying to plant those seeds so that it can grow in other areas. We're going to talk about workflows and the ideas around those in 4 segments, talking first about pursuit or opportunity data. Then we're going to get into the project side. Then we're going to look at our companies and contacts, and then wrap it up with personnel. And then I'm going to loop back around to some opportunity and projects examples that I can give you in a live demo of some Outlook automation to get some of your really critical information into a calendar in Outlook. So we're going to demo that at the end. So talking about opportunity or pursuit, whatever language you're using, leads, any of that work that we're chasing, these are the workflows examples and some ideas that we have for you. This is by no means an exhaustive list. Please do not hear that this is the only way to go. There are hundreds that you can do, and there's no right way or wrong way to do this. So really, it's just meant to get your juices flowing, to get you into that creative space so that you can use these as a launching place. I do want to say this AI thing is stuck on my screen because I've got my chat window open. So it's got this little AI thing going in my mind. If you are playing with ChatGPT, this is a situation where if you see something today that, you know, like the one on my screen now, alert users if an opportunity has been updated in 30, 60, or 90 days, or sorry, has not been updated in that amount of time, you could play with ChatGPT and put it in there and say, what are some examples like this for me to create workflows in my CRM system? Or you can give your ChatGPT an identity and say, you are a CRM manager creating workflows to better help your users, to increase adoption, those things that we just talked about. What are some good workflows that I can create? And it'll start to populate some lists for you, so you can use it as an idea generator as well. That said, looking at your users' usage, we want to help them encourage to keep the data up to date. We know that data that sits stagnant is bad data, and we don't want that in our system. So making sure that that stays up to date. This isn't just, it doesn't have to be just opportunities, but those are the ones that tend to be updated the most. You can change this to a contact too. If a contact hasn't had any activity, any updates in over a year, trigger an email or an alert or whatever that is within your system. So looking at your usage and how things are being updated and how often they're being modified is important. Now, if you're a person that's like, hey, Courtney, this is great, but like we are in email overload and all of our users just ignore our emails or just shove them into a folder that they never look at. If that's the case, then you can automate it to yourself. If you are the administrator or the person responsible for the CRM, you can automate it to other admins that might be helping with that task. Or you can, in some systems, monitor that with reports or some other tools that they have in the system where you can go in and see the usage yourself and then react accordingly. So like I said, just use these as a thought process of brainstorming to get you to what is helpful for your specific needs. The next one's thinking about triggering when users enter fictitious data or dollar values, any data really, to get past required fields. So when I was managing a CRM system, I knew that we would never chase anything that was worth $1. This was a dead giveaway that it was fake data. So I would watch for that dollar field. And if it did not meet a threshold, I knew that we would never chase anything that was not worth $500,000 or more, $100,000 or more, whatever it is for your firm. Then watch that value list and say, if it is created and it has less than this amount, trigger an email or not require it or whatever it is that your automation is that it allows you to do. Or if it changes stages and it still has a low value, or you know what, maybe if it's an early lead, $1's fine, but once it gets into a later stage, nope, we've got to nix it. We have to make sure that that is an accurate dollar amount. Just thinking about how to get rid of that fictitious data that people might be just throwing in there to get past certain requirements. Notifying account managers if a new opportunity has been entered into or attached to, associated with key clients. So if you do have someone who's like anything to do with Baylor Scott and White, Courtney needs to be notified, setting those up. Now that could be, again, not just pursuit data. You can say if a new contact is associated with that key client, let them know. Or if a project milestone has been reached with that key client, let them know. So just thinking through some of those. And then sending an email to accounting to set up a project number when a project or a pursuit has reached a specific stage. In this case, it's closed won. Really thinking about that internal departmental communication. When I was presenting at a company, we had the projector go down and IT was in the room, and I was talking about sending out notifications when a project was won or a pursuit was won. And the IT guy said, could we get on that email? And I was like, sure, but why? Why does IT need to know that a pursuit was won? And his response surprised me because it's not something I ever would have thought of. And he said, you know, there's a lot of times that the superintendent, it was for a general contractor, the superintendent would get angry because we didn't have the job trailer set up for a project that we had no idea existed. So they were able to be proactive. And when the opportunity was closed won, they were able to reach out to that staff team and say, hey guys, when is the trailer set up? What do you need from an IT perspective? And be able to do their jobs better. So not, this example says accounting, but thinking outside of that. Is there an operations side that needs to be notified? Is there something else that, you know, could increase your communication and transparency internally, that could help. Continuing on with the pursuit workflows, looking at required fields depending on stage or dollar value. This isn't necessarily like email external communication, but looking at your system and the automations within. So setting requirements of like, hey, it has to reach this dollar value or you can't click save. Or this field is now required when you change it to this stage. So for example, you might not know when the proposal is due or the deadline for the bid is due when you're early chasing it. So that doesn't need to be required, but if the stage changes to proposal due or proposal in progress, that due date better be there. So making sure that you have that built out in your system. Sending email notification when the firm wins a pursuit. Yay, congratulations. This allows everybody to get excited about your wins. Point of caution, I did this as an eager admin, and I left the staff team on there of like who was going to be on the project. Caution, they might not know that they were proposed on that project, and it might be a project that will cause them to move locations or be out of state. So that's probably not the moment that they want to learn that they've been assigned to this project. We also already know, or a lot of us know, that just because they were proposed on the project doesn't mean that they're actually going to be on that project. Sometimes there's a change in personnel, things like that. So maybe just leave personnel out of that win notification, but it is important to have that camaraderie and build that morale so that you can get excited about the wins. So sending those out or sending it to your PR communication department so that they can have a cool win announcement with maybe the rendering or something to go out internally to your team. Then looking at utilizing set action workflows to backfill fields that maybe users often overlook. So for example, if they put the dollar amount into a specific service, maybe each service line has a dollar field for your fee. So if you're doing commissioning, it's this cost. If you're doing mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, and there's fees associated to each one of those, you might also have a field that is services being provided. They might fill out the dollar field, but forget to check that box over here. Help your users and use a set action that says, if this field has a value, if it's populated, select it over here. So if mechanical is populated for a dollar value, select mechanical on the services that we're providing. This just helps your users so that if they forget, the system can do it for them. For example, if they select, medical office building as a secondary or primary category, or they select medical office building as a component on the pursuit, then it's pretty clear that healthcare is the market. So backfill the market as healthcare. Making those correlations is important for your users to increase that adoption and make sure that your data stays correct and populated so that you can trust your widgets and your reports and things like that you'll be utilizing. Here's another example of those service lines, just making sure that you always select them when dollar values are populated. The workflows moving into projects. So this is no longer pursuing it. You want it. It's boots on the ground, pens on paper. You're designing it. You're doing the engineering, whatever that is for your firm. You're working on the project. It's under contract. Having date triggers to request project scope. We all know that the scope that it was when it was in early stages, when you're pursuing the project, might not be what it is after value engineering. They might have gone from a 13-story building to an 11-story building. They might have, changed some of the facade features, whatever that is. So you want to make sure that your project scope is accurate as you're using this project, maybe to win other work. So at 25% complete of the project, reaching out to the project manager and saying, this is the scope that we have. Is it still accurate? Is the cost still right? Is the completion date still right? Whatever those are, and that can change at each milestone of the project. Pushing data from the opportunity to the pursuit side. There are CRMs that allow you to convert one to another. So once you win an opportunity, you convert it to a project record, and some data goes over. But typically it's not every piece of data that you want. Maybe they forgot the categories over here and you want them over here. Looking and investigating those workflows of, can we push data over? The description that was on the pursuit side might not automatically go to the project. Maybe you want it to. Looking at what information you can push upon convert. Notifications for a specific field or data set to change or be modified. So looking at if we do not have a dollar amount by this point of the project, we've got to get it. So we need to be notified. I'm looking at, hey, a specific part of the project record hasn't changed in 60 days. That's probably bad. Let's go look at it. Maybe if you're using a data connector that's from accounting and you know that your staff team will come over when they start charging time to that project. If the staff team hasn't been added in the first 60 days, that's a red flag that something's broken. That, hopefully in 60 days of starting a project, someone's charged time to it. So looking at those things of what should be changing on a regular basis for your projects and notify if it's not. And then reminders for operations or technical staff to review information upon milestones, reviewing whether it's just basic data, more complex data as you're going. This is also important for marketing for your client experience. So whether you're doing client surveys at certain percentages of the project, if you're going to schedule project photography at a certain point, any of those kind of things that are project related are important to continue to get good data in your system. Now, switching over to the company and contact information. We said it earlier, but making sure that those account managers stay up to date on what's happening on your top tier clients, requiring an internal employee to always be associated to contacts and not have orphans running around your system. Email or alert the contact owner or the account owner of key information being modified. Hey, their email has changed or their phone number has changed. Utilizing the set actions to backfill information. I am notorious for this. Whenever I travel to speak, we always let people know like, hey, Courtney's going to be in this area, but that's based off of a region. The region has to be populated for those emails to work. Well, I always forget to put the region. I'll populate the address and then move on. So we have a backfill that based on the state, it selects the region. So that way we can keep our information accurate. And then looking at personnel information. So emails when the certification or licenses are about to expire, keeping those up to date. Reminders for them to upload that renewed license documentation. Having them celebrate milestones, whether it's, hey, you started a year ago, or you're reaching your 40th wedding, or not wedding, your work anniversary, or whatever those are that you want to celebrate. You can set those reminders. Now, whether it goes to you, to their manager, to someone else, to them personally, playing with those dates that you have on the personnel record. All right, so I talked fast there at the end because I realized that we have 7 minutes left and I want to leave time to demo the next section. So we know that we all live and die by our calendars, our Outlook calendars specifically. And some CRM systems out there do not push those critical dates to an Outlook calendar. We have figured out a way to do that. So regardless of what system you're using, if you are able to send an email with those dates in it, then we are able to help you push that onto an Outlook calendar. So I'm going to walk you through how we use this for CKC and how it looks in our system. So this is a screenshot of our calendars. Every event that we put on is an opportunity for us. So we enter that event as an opportunity, and then an email is sent to a specific email address that has the date of that event. And then that event is put on a calendar. We actually have that calendar also put back into our CRM. So what you're seeing on my screen is a snapshot of our CRM and the calendars within that. You'll also see that we have a tab that's for our anniversary calendars. So our work anniversaries are on the calendar so that all of our employees know when people are going to be celebrating their anniversary of starting with CKC. So looking at this, you can see that they're time stamped. So if you are entering the time of something that's due, anything like that, you can put that on a calendar. Now, this is specific to us. we have clients that we walked through this process with where we put their bid calendar together so that all their bids, whether it's on an estimating side, hard bids that they're working on, are on a calendar. We also have done it for start dates, so knowing when their projects are starting or completing. So you can also backdate it. So 90 days from the project completion, put a note on the calendar that we need to schedule photography. Any of those kind of date-centric things, we can put them on the calendar. I would caution you when you're working with the personnel data, don't make one for birthday calendars, because birthdays are typically something that could be used for passwords and things like that. And because this link is a public calendar or a shared calendar, typically you don't want that to be able to be at risk for being hijacked or anything like that for virus and malware and things like that. So you don't want your birthdays of your people like on a public calendar kind of thing. Outside of that, we've had great success with this. So I'm going to demo it really quick with our account. So what we're looking at is a calendar in Outlook. So this URL is the actual calendar that you can see in Outlook. So this can be in Outlook 365 on the web, like I'm showing you here. It can, and Erica, please let me know if me switching over to the web has broken my screen or anything like that. Looking at the web, you can also have it in your own Outlook. You just have to enable that calendar and then these show up. So when we're looking at my calendar, you can see all of these and it's just a different color on my Outlook calendar. So what's cool about this is based on how we built the workflow email that goes to that specific email address, we put the calendar date and start and end time or the event or the due date or whatever it is that you're doing, and then details about the opportunity, pursuit, project, what have you, and then a link back to that record. So straight from the calendar, you can get to, if I actually clicked the right thing, you can get back to the pursuit record. So right there, oh, Erica, that was you. We will send you the recording if you need to hop off because we know we are tight on time. So it gets you right back to that record, which is really helpful. Again, you can do this for start dates, for submittal, or your submittal proposals, bids, any of that you can put onto a calendar. The anniversary, again, it's the same thing. When you click on here, you can see that I started with CKC of May 17th of 2016. And that is out here for everyone. You can see Courtney Vance's other use cases that you might want to put out on a calendar. We are able to help you with that. Now, some of the back end of how that happens, as long as you can create a workflow email that is sent with the information that you're looking for, that is what you need to be. Actually, I took a screenshot of it, so let me pull that up. So that'll be easier to look at. All right, so you can see that we entered the date here of the event and workshop. So it's going actually to my email, and then we send it straight to a folder, and then the Power Automate tool is looking at that folder only. And it's going to say, okay, here is the opportunity name. And then we do the CKC event, so we know what it is, calendar information, link, and then it converts it to what you see here. So that is the opportunity name. Oh, sorry, this whole thing is the opportunity name. And then that is hard coded based on the workflow itself. So as long as your system is able to send this kind of workflow in an email form with the information that you want it to show up on the event calendar, we're able to create this for you. Now, if you have Outlook 365, you can do this for yourself using Power Automate and create this and do this. We're able to help walk you through any part of that. If you don't have Outlook 365, we can host this for you. and then allow you to add users to that calendar function, or just put the calendar function back into your CRM like this. So then you don't have to have that Outlook piece that to connect it. So I know that was a lot of information. We wanted to be able to demo that for you. I will stay on for a couple minutes. If you have questions, if you want me to show you something else, drop it into the chat window. Outside of that, I hope that you have a great start to your springtime growth in your CRM. I am going to pull up this guy. We have, again, the CRM chat July 13th. It's going to be talking about workflows. And we have a DFW users group July 12th, and then an Adobe and AI. Julie Schaefer and I are going to be working on a joint workshop and putting that on the afternoon of July 19th here in the DFW area in Texas. And we're doing data, text, and image AI. So super excited about that. I do see that we have a question. Can it pull the data from a due date that is entered into an opportunity? Absolutely. We have clients that do that. So they put a due date calendar together, and those due dates are viewed on the calendar as long as the due date is populated on your pursuit or opportunity record. Absolutely, it can do that. Any other questions? Adria, I see that you're still on and you said hi earlier. So hi back, and hope you're having a good start to your summer. Can it pull from a SharePoint events calendar? I don't think so, but we could talk through that. Essentially, Power Automate needs a trigger, like it needs something that causes the workflow to start. And I don't know that it can just look at a SharePoint to be triggered or as a trigger, but we could talk through that. And CVance has experience with this, so that could be a question on maybe your next call, and you could look through some of that. But if it's already on a SharePoint events calendar, I'm curious why you need another calendar. Anyway, there's a lot to vet there. All right, I don't see any other questions coming through. Oh, interested in calendar actions. We'll talk more. Okay, perfect. If no one has any other questions, I will go ahead and end the session. Thank you all for your time, and I look forward to talking to you again. Thank you much.